Oh, hey guys, Mr. Janowski here. I made a little adjustment to my lighting setup. I thought I had daylight balance bulbs in there to match the outside light from behind. Turns out I didn't, so hopefully this looks a little bit better. Still not in total control over all the videography stuff, which is annoying me because I know how to do it a little bit at least. Anyhow, here's another problem from the Chapter 35 study guide. This is problem 5. This one, it's a little bit trickier. This might take a little bit longer to do, but hopefully it's not too bad. So let's get started. So here we have a little bit of a messy circuit, and the thing we've got to solve for is what is the equivalent resistance seen by the battery? So if we're doing step what we want is Req in units of ohms. So let's see what we can do here. There's a couple things that aren't going to be too difficult to simplify. So right up here, I can see that these guys are simply in series. And also these guys right here, they're also just in series. So these won't be that hard to do. So for up here, Req is just going to be R1 plus R2. So 25 ohms plus 15 ohms, going to give us 40 ohms. And these guys down here, Req for these guys, I've got a 10 ohm resistor and a 20 ohm resistor. So let me write it the way I said it, R5 plus R4. That's going to end up giving us 30 ohms. So don't try to do everything all in your head. Draw the intermediate circuits that you need. So what are we going to have after this? We're going to have, let's see, tough to draw with this crappy stylus. We're going to have that. And then we get to the equivalent resistance of R1 and R2. So that'll be 40 ohms. So this resistor here, that's still there. That's R3. That's 35 ohms. And coming out of here, we just have a 30 ohm equivalent resistance from R4 and R5. So the next thing to do, I got these colors, let's use them. The next thing to do on our way is take these guys and find the equivalent resistance of this arrangement right here. So that 40 ohm equivalent resistance of R1 and R2 is now in parallel with the 35 ohm resistor that was already there. That one was just R3. So to get the equivalent of this, Req, we're going to need our formula for the equivalent resistance of resistors in parallel. So that's going to give us 1 over 40 ohms plus 1 over 35 ohms. And you've got to take that to the minus 1. So when you do that, Req is going to end up being 18.6 repeating ohms. So now I know what that is, which is going to let me draw this circuit one more time. So we have a battery coming up here. That's that resistance we just figured out. That's the resistance we figured out in the first part. So that was 30 ohms. This guy is 18.6 repeating ohms. So what's the equivalent resistance of this combination right here? Pretty easy to see. This is all in series, so very easy to do. Let's go to black. We got room for that. So when I add these guys in series, I'm going to have crappy stylus. So always a crappy stylus. So here's the battery. I'm just going to have one resistor at the end, and it's just going to be 30 ohms plus 18.6 ohms repeating. So 48.6 repeating. Just call it 48.7 ohms is our final equivalent resistance. Put a box around it. We solved for the right thing. We gave it the right units. So we're happy with that. Give it a check. So hopefully that helps.